If you love stories that awaken both emotion and wonder, then subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell icon. We bring you rare stories and forgotten treasures every day. Have you ever thought about how a small piece of metal can carry the weight of an entire state's history? Today's story is about one such coin, a piece that doesn't just shine with silver, but glows with the spirit of courage, sacrifice, and the dream of freedom. This is the Maryland quarter, proudly engraved with the words, Maryland, 1788, and the old line, State, beneath. These words lies the year 2000, marking the moment when this symbolic coin was released to the public as part of the U.S. State Quarters program. This historic program was created to celebrate the identity, pride, and legacy of all 50 American states, and each coin tells its own unique story. At the center of the Maryland coin stands a detailed image of the Maryland state, house a building that holds some of the most powerful moments in American history. It was here in the year 1783 that General George Washington made a decision that changed history forever. He stood before Congress and resigned his commission as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, a moment that symbolized the triumph of democracy over personal power. That act, simple yet profound, became one of the most respected gestures in the birth of the American Republic. The dome of that state house, beautifully captured on this coin, reminds every generation that true strength lies not in holding power, but in letting go of it with dignity. The words, the old line state, carved on the coin are not random, they carry deep meaning. During the Revolutionary War, Maryland soldiers earned this nickname because of their bravery and discipline on the battlefield. They formed what was known as the Maryland Line, a group of soldiers who held their ground when others retreated, protecting the American army and changing the course of the war. Their courage gave Maryland everlasting honor, and this coin is a tribute to that legacy. The Maryland quarter was minted with a copper core and a nickel-clad surface, giving it strength, shine, and endurance just like the people and spirit it represents. The edges are finely detailed, and every curve of the design was carefully crafted to capture pride, honor, and unity. Even though millions of these coins were made, collectors all over the world still treasure them because each one feels like a piece of living history. Some rare mint variations are even valued by numismatists for their tiny imperfections, which make them unique and highly collectible. When you hold this coin in your hand, you're not just holding currency. You're holding a story that began centuries ago. It reminds us of the ideals that shaped a nation, of the courage that built its foundation, and of the unity that still defines it today. If you love hearing stories hidden inside old coins, make sure to subscribe, because every coin here tells a piece of forgotten history. Now take a closer look at this coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but behind it lies a proud and fascinating story of American history. This is the Maryland State Quarter, released in the year 2000. But this coin is more than just a piece of metal. It represents the identity, sacrifice, and pride of an entire state. Maryland, known across America as the Old Line State, earned this title during the American Revolution when Maryland soldiers held a strong defensive line against the British Army. Their bravery and endurance earned them a permanent place in history. So when the United States began its 50 state quarters program, Maryland's design reflected that spirit of courage and honor. At the center of the coin, you can see the beautiful dome of the Maryland State House, located in the city of Annapolis. This is the oldest state capitol building in continuous legislative use in America. It was here that the Continental Congress met after the Revolutionary War, and it was within these walls that General George Washington famously resigned his military commission. The dome symbolizes Maryland's lasting contribution, not only to the fight for freedom but also to the birth of American democracy. Below the dome, two branches of white oak leaves can be seen, the white oak being Maryland's state tree, a symbol of strength, endurance, and resilience. When this coin was released in 2000, millions of Americans collected it not just as currency, but as a token of pride and identity. The design of the coin was chosen from hundreds of ideas submitted by citizens, historians, and artists, and this one stood out because it beautifully captured the soul of Maryland. The phrase, the old line state, inscribed on the coin, reminds everyone that freedom is never achieved easily. It takes courage, sacrifice, and unbreakable will. The date, 1788, on the coin marks the year when Maryland became the seventh state to join the Union. This coin is not just a reminder of history, but also a lesson for future generations, teaching that every small symbol, every design, and every word engraved on a coin carries deep meaning. So if you happen to hold this coin in your hand, remember, you're not just holding metal, you're holding a piece of America's living history. That's why collectors value this coin so highly, because it's not a symbol of wealth, but a symbol of pride, bravery, and sacrifice that continues to shine through time.